Welcome back to That Dad Guy. It's July the 22nd, 2022, and I'm back outside again. So last summer you would have seen me shooting some videos outside. I figured it's 31, feels like 39 today. It may even get up the humidity as far as 40 today. So I figured I better make use of my nice canopy out here, all my grapevines, and shoot a video outside. This week at the mail, I got 14 things. Quite a few things came through again this week. Some mysteries, so we're gonna try to solve those together, and one official postcard that came through. The rest are all friends and swaps, and like I said, a bit of mystery in there too. What I would say is if you send me a card or something, make sure you sign it, because that's where mysteries lie. We'll get to that though. Hopefully you guys had a great week, and we've got the Mosaic Festival this weekend, so I am going to try to get out to that either tonight or maybe tonight and tomorrow morning. We will see what I can do, but that's the plan anyway, so stay tuned for that video. And this week I got a chance to go to Petitcodiac to work, so I went to the Maritime Motorsports Hall of Fame while I was there. So if you haven't seen that, go back and take a look at it. Quite interesting. I've driven by it many times, never had stopped in until this week, so I'm glad I did. All right, let's get to what showed up in the mail this week. First one is this beautiful postcard from Germany, and got all the different regions broken down. I got a whole bunch of different cats representing each one of them, or many of them anyways. But what I really liked is this came from Sylvia, and look at the drawing that she did. So there's no words really on it, but there's a beautiful drawing that she did and colored in nicely. So thank you, Sylvia, for that. And you can see the stamps that she used, and the temperature was 24 degrees when she sent it with a bit of cloud. So very nice, very cool. Love the creativity in sending a card that has drawings in it, because you don't always have to write lots of things on it. When I'm writing my first card off, sometimes I'm writing the same thing, I find, over and over again. It's hard to get that personal message to someone when you don't really know them. So maybe express some of your talents by decorating the postcard really cool, or drawing on it, or coming up with a favorite saying or something like that. All right, my first swap one coming is this one here, and this comes from John in Scotland, and he was taking a little bit of a break, but you have seen him before on some of my videos, and this is actually original artwork that he does, and he puts out at the local market, so that's pretty cool. It's got a Lion King theme there to it, with the cub being presented, and then we've got the new barcoded UK stamps with the Queen's image on it. So thank you, John, for that, and nice to hear from you again. All right, the next one comes from Steffi in Germany, and this is showing a bunch of different lighthouses. She was on vacation up in the North Sea area, and her mother went hiking on the mud flats, so that's pretty cool. I like to see images of that. I love hiking, and I like lighthouses too. Many people do. So those are very different than some of the lighthouses you'll find here in Atlantic Canada. Oh, and the stamps that she sent. Let's not forget the stamp. All right, the next one is a new one for me. This comes from Eva, and she is in Spain. You can see the stamp that she's put on the envelope. And we got a little hedgehog stamp on the back for Polo. A little sticker that says Postcrossing connects the world. It certainly does. So inside she has included this meetup card. So this is very cool. This is a meetup that she went to in Madrid, and she is sending that off. And on the back she said even Polo was at the meetup, so maybe in his adventures he went to Madrid and did that. You can see all the other stamps from those that were in attendance at the meetup. And then she decided to send me another card. This is actually, she lives in Madrid now, but this is where she's originally from. And you can see the beautiful beaches and the gorgeous old architecture. All sorts of nice things. One day I will get to Spain. I am certain of it. It's something that I really want to do. So she said, yeah, even though she's from Madrid, she likes to send postcards from different areas of Spain, and seeing this is the area she's from, that's why she did it. It was 36 degrees when she sent it on that day. hot, hot, hot. And then the last thing she actually sent was a new issue, a Spanish stamp in support of the Ukraine. So not too long ago I showed the ones that Canada put out with the sunflowers. Well, this is the one that was put out by Spain. So that's nice that the world seems to be doing that, taking notice, and hopefully sending aid in the best way we can. I know our stamps here, they sell for a little bit more, and that little bit more goes to the war effort. All right, so thank you, Eva, for that, and hopefully many more trades to come. This next envelope comes from Janet, and she is in Oregon. She reached out to do a swap with me, so she's got some Star Wars stamps there, and a little bunny stamp. And then inside, she's got this beautiful Postcrossing is Life postcard. Haven't seen this one before, so that's really neat. And even though it was put in an envelope, she did put stamps on it, and she's got some stickers on there, and just decorated it up nicely with a whole bunch of different things. She says it's fun to watch my YouTube videos and recent Postcrossing meetups that I did earlier this month. So thank you for that. And she says her mother just turned 90, so happy birthday to your mother, Janet. Hopefully she still has many, many more years to come. My father is 89 and my mother's 86, so getting there right behind. So I know what that age of life and how important it is still to have our parents around. Inside, she also included some postage stamps. These are American postage stamps, and they've got different cancellations on them. In the past, my father would have just soaked these off and kept the stamps, but since being in Postcrossing, I've seen the importance too of the different cancellation marks that are out there. So these probably have come on some envelopes to her, and she has just saved them and sent them on to me, which I thank her for. And then she sent another little envelope of them. This one was never canceled. So you probably have seen some of these before. I gotta love the Star Wars ones that come through too. All right, so I'm gonna put those back in the envelope. Thank you, Janet, for sending those stamps to me. And we'll find a place to put them in the collection, that's for sure. I appreciate that. I appreciate when anybody decides that they want to do something special. So thank you, Janet, and I will return the favor when I'm writing back. Okay, the next one is another meetup card. This one comes from Austria. This comes from, you might know her as Daisy169 or Anita. I sent this one. And you can see the back, the big stamps, never been canceled. Everybody's stamps are on there as well. And then, see this card? This card? Well, this actually is another meetup card, the exact same one, but it comes from Christian, a different person who was at the meetup. Now, what was interesting about that is that his stamp is on this card, but it is not on the one that Anita sent me. So I'm not sure if he'd gotten the card and put his stamp on it, and that happens, it's cool. I don't mind. Meetup card's a meetup card, so I appreciate that. That's the stamp that he has, and the beautiful cancellation mark on it. So Anita's weren't canceled, but he's got a cool cancellation mark. So thank you, Christian, for sending that and the meetup card. I'll treasure both of them. Would have been cool if you guys were both at the meetup together. You would have maybe known each other. All right, the next one comes from Zachary, and he's in the United States and from Michigan, and he sent this turtle card. So it's a folded card. Don't get too many of those, but I appreciate them just the same. And he asks about my daughter and where she's thinking of going to university and things inside of that, because next month is the time when I have to take her to university. So that will be fun and exciting for her, and sad for us parents to have to take her there and leave her until we can see her once again in the future. But I'm sure she'll do well. Okay, the next one was a surprise card. We've got the Star Wars card, and it comes from Emmanuel. And when I saw it originally, it has a Canadian stamp, and it was 33 degrees when she sent it. And it took me a minute to realize who Emmanuelle was, because I know her as Emma, or that's how she was introduced to me. So it took me a minute to realize who it was, but I appreciate this comes from Emma, who was at my PEI meetup that I went to. So I will return the favor and send you a card back. Thank you for that. And speaking of the PEI meetup, this one comes from Kyler. If you watched last Monday's video, he had sent stamps last week from Japan, and so I showed you what he had sent. And this week, he sent something else, so I will show you that next week. But he did send a postcard. So we have this postcard, which comes from his hometown. It is one of two of these brownstone train stations that are still left in PEI. If you watched my That Guy Answers last week, I talked a little bit about Canadian history, and part of that Canadian history is Prince Edward Island used to have a railway on their little tiny island, and they were deeply in debt, and Canada said they'd pay off the debt if they joined Canada, and that's how Prince Edward Island became a province in Canada. And so there's one of the brownstones that still remain, called a boulder house. And his great aunt and uncle built Boulder House in Summerside in 1908, and you can Google it, the Bowness House in Summerside, and you can see what it used to look like. So he has some deep history in Prince Edward Island. So thank you, Kyler, for the postcard, and I will show the stamp that you sent at a future video. Okay, now herein lies the mystery. We have this postcard, and we have this postcard. Two really cool postcards, both the same stamp, different cancellations. This one is the commemorative re-ride of the Pony Express, and it's stamped in Montana. And this one is U.S. Fish and Wild Game Service's 150th anniversary of the National Fish Hatchery, and it's stamped from South Dakota. The address, our address exactly the same way as a printed label on green paper. One says National 150th Fish Hatchery System Anniversary. No name. The next one says every June volunteers recreate the Pony Express over a 10-day period, 8 states, 1,966 miles, 1,000 letters are mailed each year. No name. At first I thought maybe it was Ross, because Ross loves to send me cards, and he was in the States recently. And I looked at the writing, and it doesn't look the same, so it's not Ross. But then I thought, well, maybe it's Julie in Montana, because she's in Montana, and she could have been to South Dakota too, and she knows I like Star Wars, and could be her. And the writing looks more like Julie, so if it's Julie, thank you for that. I did send you a message asking if you did send me something, but I hadn't heard back yet. So if this is you that sent these two cards, whoever you may be, please leave me a note and let me know. Love to make sure that I'm sending return cards to whoever it is. And right now, I don't know who I'm sending return cards to. So thank you for that. If you're writing me, give me some reminders. And sometimes people ask for addresses and then I don't hear back, or I get something at a much later date and I've forgotten where they've contacted me from. Okay, now the next one, I have an envelope. You can see the Canadian stamps on it. It comes from Shara in British Columbia. Last week she sent an envelope and a parcel, so very cool. Nice to get something else. And in this one, she sent a book of postcards. So we were just looking at this postcard a moment ago, and this is from the same series. I don't believe this postcard is in this booklet, but you can get these books. They're about the Star Wars characters as children, and what you might go through. I'll give you some examples. Different scenes from movies or reenactments of stuff that's going on. But they are pretty funny if you are a Star Wars fan and you can get the references that they're talking about. BB-8 being dressed up as the Death Star, maybe Luke wouldn't like that. Or here you've got Kylo Ren talking to Darth Vader and asking what the dark side is like, and he turns out the light. Very funny. You've got Master Luke at a dunk tank. So yeah, I won't show you them all because I probably will use them and send them off to people, and you'll get to see them then when I send them off. But thank you so much, Shara, for the parcel. More smiles when it arrived, and you know how much I like Star Wars cards and things like that, so it was a perfect selection for me, so I really appreciate that. Now the last thing I have to show you is another mystery. And it's even more of a mystery because it's signed. Alright, this one comes from Ireland. Just arrived today. It says it's from Dublin. And Hugh is the only person that I have been corresponding regularly with from Ireland, and it's been a little while since I heard from Hugh. But it's not from Hugh, or at least it's not signed by Hugh. So this is the postcard that was sent. Says, "Hello there, Robert. This card is from Naples back in the day, more than a century ago. 3 different animals to pull 1 cart. I'm using this card to send your message. It says, great idea to have your YouTube channel for your cards, and it's signed Alvin, A-L-V-E-A-N. Once again, could be a Ross type joke. He would be known for something like that. But even on the semi-address, and it's not a full address, it just says it says the name again. It says Ireland, and it has the postal code on the back, but no street address. Yeah, I don't really know. The postmark from it shows it was mailed in Dublin, Ireland. We got that, and he sent something really super cool as well. And it comes with an explanation. Let me show you. This is the first day cover that came out. It came out in 2019. And it depicts the 100th anniversary of British aviators, Captain Jack Alcott and Lieutenant Arthur Whitten Brown. They took off from Leicester Field near St. John's, Newfoundland, here in Canada, on June 14th, 1919, in a modified Vickers Vimy plane powered by 2 Rolls-Royce Eagle 360 horsepower engines. Just over 16 hours later, on June 15th, 1919, after flying approximately 1,890 nautical miles through challenging conditions, they landed at Clifton County, Galway, Ireland. Their pioneering flight won the Daily Mail prize of £10,000 for the first non-stop flight across the Atlantic Ocean in less than 72 hours. Winston Churchill, Britain's then Secretary of State for Air, presented them with the Daily Mail prize a few days later. Both men were knighted by King George V in recognition of their achievement. Before taking off, Captain Alcott accepted a small bag of mail from the postmaster in Newfoundland. He handed over the mail for onward delivery when he reached London, making this flight the first transatlantic airmail flight. The stamp and first day cover are illustrated by Vincent Killery and designed by Design Headquarters. So there we go, the stamps showing a picture of the Vimy having emerged from a spiral dive through a turbulent clouds back under control just above the Atlantic swells. You can see there the plane over the raging water below, and their landing may mean that they won't be flying off again in that particular plane. But very cool to have a connection between Canada and Ireland, and have a first day cover for that. So I thank you. But if it's you who sent me it, please reach out. I need to have your address. I want to be able to respond. I want to make sure that I know who Alvin is. Jog my memory, because I went through my notes of all the addresses I keep of people when they ask to do swaps. It's not in there. I've gone through emails to see whether or not it came through Postcrossing, and I don't have any emails that say that an Alvin sent me a message. So thank you so much. It's such a super cool gift, but I want to be able to write back to you. So if you're watching this video, send me a note, let me know. All right, speaking of sending me a notes, go to the last That Dad Guy answers from last Saturday and leave me some questions so I can have something for you tomorrow to answer. I haven't yet checked today, but as of yesterday, I didn't have any questions. I had, thank you, love the video, those type of messages, but didn't have any comments that were asking questions. So if you want to see this video continue tomorrow for that Dad Guy Answers, I'm going to need a few questions to be placed out there. Otherwise, I may just bypass it tomorrow, and we will look at maybe the festival as being the only video that will come out. So that being said, it's already been 20 minutes. Time has flown by. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the weather wherever you are. If it's super hot, stay where you're air conditioned or where you can remain hydrated and under shade. If you love the heat, get out there and enjoy it, but make sure you're wearing sunscreen, especially if you have pale skin like myself. And right now, I'm just enjoying a little bit of a breeze coming through. And my grapes, I'm just watching them in the background. They're loving this hot temperature. They're growing. So for now, stay safe. What, Polo? You say like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends?
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?